Listen to this episode if you are trying to grow your product-based business and you are looking for just a little more business insight of a major misconception that is out. Hello, welcome to the Small Business Growth Podcast. I am so glad that you're here. If you're new here, I'm Madison Page. I'm the host. I'm a business growth specialist, and I like to teach business in a fun, conversational type of way. I like to call it like sipping coffee with a biz bestie. So if you're here, hello, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back, girlfriend, to another episode. And today we're talking about a major business misconception. It's something that I hear about really often. And it's something that a lot of people feel when they're talking about either joining my programs or they are talking about just in business in general, that they just don't have the time for actual business growth. But yet, when I talk to them, they're like, Maddie, I'm posting all the time. I'm doing all the things that I must just need to do more. I must just need to be more consistent. I must just need to add all of these other things to my plate in order to make this happen for me, that I just don't know if I have time to actually grow a business right now. Time is a really big thing that I hear about. But this misconception is that if you are already doing the things, which if you're listening here, and I know you are because I know my listeners are pretty religious, they listen to literally every episode. A lot of you have listened to all 200 plus episodes out there, that I know you do the things. I know you're not just listening. I know you're not just consuming. I know you are actually doing the thing. You're out there, you're posting the content, you're trying to be consistent. This isn't a consistency game. This doesn't mean you need to add more to your plate. Yes, you need to work hard. Yes, you need to show up, quote unquote, consistently, but what it really is it doesn't take doing all of the things. It doesn't take like adding so much to your plate in order to do this. It's just doing a couple of things well is really what it takes, especially when we're talking about kind of getting to consistent sales. As your business grows, as your business develops into maybe $60,000, $70,000, $100,000, things might get a little bit more complex because you can't handle everything by yourself anymore. You might be trying to hire people out, and then things can get a little bit more complex. And yes, we do always wear a lot of hats. But what I'm talking about is it doesn't mean that you need to add more to your plate to see more business growth. Because I know you're showing up already. I know you're on your stories. I know you're making the reels. I know you're making the content on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever it is. I know you're already out there doing the dang thing, but it's just not working for you. And so to that, I want to say that this isn't about doing more. This isn't about not having the time for it. It's about not understanding the full skill set and the strategy. And we're going to talk about that today and really kind of dive in to the three major places that you need to focus on in order to grow your business and really get to that consistent sales mark, and some things that you really just need to know about your business in order to see real business growth. And that is what we are diving into today. Of course, it is a sprint at the beginning of your business. We are working hard. We are you do have to show up consistently, but it doesn't mean that if it's not working for you, you need to do more. It doesn't mean you have to be everywhere. It doesn't mean you have to post 3 times a day. What it really means is that it is something that you just need to master and that you have some sort of gap somewhere. And this was something when I was growing my business is I used to think, okay, this wasn't working. I should just post more. Like when I had my blog and I was trying to sell my products through my blog, I was like, okay, well, I'll just post, 3 blogs a week as opposed to 1. And that will make me, that'll get me there 3 times as fast. Okay. But clearly in my content and in my messaging, I had a gap because I already had eyes. I already had views. I already had people that were looking at it. They just weren't buying. And if you're at that point where people are watching, but it just kind of seems like you're putting it out into the ether, it's not that you need to do it more consistently to get more messages in front of them, because if they had the proper messages, if they had the proper content, they would be able to buy. They would be able to get there. So it's more about doing 3 major pieces of business well, and then you just have to do those 3 major pieces more. And we're going to talk about what those are. They really just are growing an audience, building a community, and selling to them consistently, especially if you're trying to get to consistent sales. These are the three pieces that you really just need to master and then cycle through them. You're growing, getting in front of new people. And when I say grow an audience, that doesn't mean you need 50,000 followers. It doesn't even mean that you need 10,000 followers, especially to start. All I'm saying is you need to master how to get in front of new eyes consistently, how to get in front of new people so that they can see who you are consistently. And we're going to talk about some strategies to do that in a couple of seconds. When we talk about nurturing a community, it's how can you connect with your audience? How do you actually get those new people and turn them into somebody that actually likes and desires what you have? How they can really feel connected inside of like a separate entity for what your product is. And then when we talk about selling, how can you have control over where they are selling and when they are buying? And really, you just have to do that consistently. Get new people in, nurture them, and sell to them. Get new people in, nurture them, and sell to them. This is that seamless sales system that I'm always talking about, is how can you set up systems in the back end to constantly be growing, constantly be moving people from growing to nurturing into your community, and then moving people from nurturing into buying from you in through a sales system. This is what that seamless sales system is. Get new people in, nurture them, sell to them. And we can have different ways that, yes, you can have this set up on your Instagram, on your website. You can have different ways that does that through your highlights, what you have in your pinned posts, your email funnels, what's on your website. All of those things are things that you can kind of do once and let them flow in the background and watch them kind of work for you. And they will naturally move people if people are willing to kind of dig around on your site. And then all your job is in your output, you're doing the same thing. In your content, in your messaging, in your emails, you are doing the same thing. Sometimes you're trying to grow, sometimes you're trying to nurture, and sometimes you're trying to sell. This is what a marketing and a sales system is. This is how you blend those two, is growing and nurturing, is marketing to people and getting them involved, and then selling is really just the sales portion of your marketing. And if we can get these three things to work really seamlessly together, you can absolutely see these results quicker. The thing that I hear a lot is people say, I'm doing all of the things, but nothing is working. Like we've kind of said, I'm doing it all, I'm showing up, it's just not working for me. But those same people, when I ask, okay, what are you doing? What is your strategy? They say, I don't know, I'm kind of just like going with the flow and I hope that something sticks, or whatever works. And I'm just kind of trying to put stuff out there and hoping something starts to work. Or something I hear so often is I'm throwing spaghetti at a wall and I'm hoping that it sticks. I am seeing what other people are doing and I'm trying to imitate it. I'm seeing what other posts out there are getting some traction and I'm trying to make one about my business that does the same thing. I'm really just trying to get by and get that out there. Meaning to me is they actually haven't learned what it means to do that. They haven't actually learned the strategy behind how to do these things. Building a business absolutely is hard work, like no matter what. But it doesn't take doing 1,000,001 things in order to get it done, especially to grow your business. To grow your business, you just have to figure out, how do I get in front of my people? How do I nurture them? And how do I sell to them? And that can all be done on one platform, maybe two, meaning social media and maybe emails. If you want to use emails and kind of propel that a little bit forward, I think every small business should have emails. But those three things can all happen on Instagram based on your feed and your stories. Those two pieces, and maybe lives are a great piece of content to use. Between those three things, we can do this, but you have to understand and make the tweaks that it makes sense. You are already doing a lot right now. I know you are. I know you're working hard. You're listening to the podcast. You're trying to do the things. Like, especially some of you guys reach out to me. You're like, I have a 9 to 5. I have kids. I'm trying to build this business. I commend you so incredibly hard. But I actually think it's like incredibly admirable when people are like, you know what? I'm just trying to make it happen. I might not know about it, but I'm showing up and I'm doing the messy action. I am creating the content. I'm hoping something works. And to me, what that is saying is you're committed to it. Even though you don't know how to do it, you're committed to it. But have you mastered it? If you're really wanting to go all in on this, if you're really wanting this to be like if you really want it to be like, this is your thing, this is what you're able to do to sustain you long term. Have you mastered it? Have you actually taken the time to plan out what order this content is going, how to strategize it, to learn the strategies behind it, how to actually grow, nurture, and sell, learn kind of the ins and outs of what it takes. And I know that's why you're here right now. You're listening to the podcast, but it does go deep. Like, it goes really deep. There is so much to dive into. And you really just need to know how to do it and how to do it well. So get off my blabbing here and let us chat about what are these things. Let me see. So we're going to talk about growing, nurturing, and selling, and kind of like some questions you need to ask yourself and some strategies around each of those and what that really takes. First things first, when you're growing, where can you consistently get people to come in? Where are your people right now, and how can you be there? Are they in Facebook groups? Are they on Instagram Reels? Are they on TikTok? Are they at the city commerce meetings at your whatever? Are they at networking events? Where are your people right now? Where are they? What are they buying? Like as a replacement to your product, and how can you get in front of them and be known before then? Where are they consuming information? Where do they hang out on social media? Are they on Pinterest? Are they on YouTube? Like, where are your customers, and what do they really love to do? What information would pique their interest that points you apart from everybody else? Because a lot of growth comes down to kind of putting your stake in the ground on some sort of value, some sort of controversial statement, some sort of something that is going to get them to be like, ooh, this is the one that I want to be a part of. This is the brand that was made for me. What takes do they have? Do you know who your ideal customer is? Do you know who your target audience is? Are you incredibly clear on who it is you're actually trying to sell to? And then if you are, where are they and how can we get there? What commitment do you need to make to yourself right now as a non-negotiable to make that happen? And I'm not going to be someone that tells you need to post 7 days a week. You need to post 2 times a day. I'm not somebody that's going to sit there and say that. What you need to do is you need to pick a number that no matter what is going on in your life, no matter if you are launching a new product, no matter if you are on vacation, you are putting that amount of content out a week. And even if that is 2 reels that is focused on growth through the growth content, that is your commitment and you are going to stick to that. That is how you get in front of people. So is it Pinterest? Is it YouTube? And you're going to pick something right now that's an action item in order to get there that you are just going to commit to every week. And I don't want you to commit to 7 days. I don't want you to commit to 2 posts a day. I want you to commit to 2 or 3 posts a week if that is what feels very doable for you. And then you can only go above and beyond that. We want to set goals that are achievable and that we know we can go over. Now, I don't want you to say I want to post 1 day a week, because I know you can do a little bit more than that. But if that's 2, 3, that's okay. It doesn't have to be 7 days a week. But understanding if this is your major piece for growth, if you do post 7 days a week, it's probably going to come a little bit sooner. Of course, if you have the strategy behind it and like really start to get that traction, you'll start to see what works. You start to get the analytics. You'll start to see the numbers that really starts to happen for you. So when we're talking about growing, what is something that you can do consistently and even if you don't know that it'll work right away, that you know has worked for other people, that you know that your audience is there, and that you need to learn and figure out how to do in order to get in front of new people? Is it Instagram Reels? Is it Pinterest? Is it ads? What is that? The next thing is when we're talking about nurturing, how can you connect to your audience really well on a personal front and a professional front? How can you actually make them feel like they are a part of something and they are a part of a community and that you are collaborating with them? A lot of nurturing actually comes from collaboration. How can you ask them questions? How can you get them involved in your business? How can you get them to like help you find what your next product is, what your packaging looks like, what content to create, things like that. When we're talking about nurturing, it's all about connection and collaboration. So where can you right now commit to connecting with people? And how does that connection really work? What do you have that is relatable or similar to your audience? And how can you be there? How can you connect to them on that? How can you tell a story that makes them say, wow, she's been through what I've gone through, or she made this business because of a problem that I have right now? How can you also differentiate yourself from everybody else to make yourself more different than what other people are doing out there? Because a lot of times when people say they just can't make connection with people, they just can't nurture their community, it's because their community doesn't know what they're supposed to connect to. They don't know if they're supposed to connect to, a neutral style or a bold style or a boho style, because all you're doing is kind of like pushing product. How can we add a little bit more depth to what you're doing, add a meaning behind it, add some like actual connection to it? How can you make them understand what is so special about your brand versus other brands? How can we do those things? Nurturing is all about collaboration and connection. How can we find a place that you are consistently collaborating and connecting with people? My favorite place to do this is on Instagram stories. I think it's the easiest place to do this. There's so many stickers. There's so many features that allows for this to happen. So where can you connect with these people? What stories can you tell? In what areas can you connect with them on a personal front to really build that community? Next, when we move into selling, are you running launches right now? Do you have launches? Are they high energy and are they selling for you? Because if they are not, we have a fundamental problem in your launch strategy and what you're doing throughout that. Because I have clients that have 500 followers that are selling out their launches because they run launches in a strategic fashion. You can be selling out your launches. They might not have, 1,000 pieces of inventory that they're selling out, but the inventory that they sell out, they know going into a launch, they're confident that people are going to buy. Do you have a sales strategy that you can have control over like that? And if you don't, how can you plan ahead for something in order to kind of get to that next step and in order to really talk about it? I have trainings on launches. I have a full course on launches, the Product Launch Academy, which is incredible and is really helping a lot of people. Do you have back-end systems set up to make consistent sales? On your email list, in your highlights on your Instagram, do you have people and places set up to move people through, growing to nurturing, from nurturing to selling? Do you have places that you are moving people onto your email list? Do you even have an email list? Because selling most of the time happens mostly on emails. Yes, you can do it on your stories. Yes, you're going to do it everywhere, but emails is still a very high converting marketing channel. Are you doing emails at all? Are you sending people from social to your email list? People always say, well, how do I grow my email list? I don't understand. And it's like, okay, yes, but how often are you talking about your email list? What are they getting that's exclusive to actually get the community that you're growing consistently into this email list in order to get them to buy? And is your website optimized? These are some of those major questions we need to kind of master. And so it's not about doing more. Because what we're doing here, what I'm talking about, how do you connect with your audience on a deeper level? This is what you're posting on your Instagram stories. You right now, I already know you're posting on your Instagram stories, but they might not be connecting with people just because there's a lack of kind of messaging and content strategy there. I already know that you are trying to grow your audience because I hear it all the time. Maddie, I'm trying to grow my audience. I'm trying to get traction, but it's not working. So I already know you're doing these things. It's not that you have to add more to your plate. Maybe email marketing is something that you're adding to your plate. But a lot of email marketing is funnels where you do it once, you set it up, and it kind of works for you. It's a major part of the seamless sales system is having email funnels set up that are very strategic so you can come in and they can sell, they sell for you. These things are not things that you are not already doing. It's just how can we do them better? How can we optimize what you're currently doing and make them actually more efficient? One of the most common things I hear from my clients before my programs is, Maddie, I just don't really have the time to grow my business right now. And to some people, 100%, you might have a lot going on in your life. And I'm never going to be somebody that's like, you have to make the time. I know you have the time. But what I want to say to that is to people that do have the time, but they are just they have this misconception that in order to grow your business, you have to do all of these more things. You're already making reels. If you're already posting on your Instagram stories and you are already trying to sell to people, you already are doing the things, you just aren't doing them effectively. It's not about adding more to your plate. It's about doing some things better. It's about mastering these 3 areas. How do I grow consistently, which can happen and is working for people right now? How do I nurture people and get them into my community and kind of cycle around? And how can I sell to people? And how can I do this repeatedly? Right now, I don't want to say it's wasting time, because what you're doing is admirable. You're doing the thing, you're showing up, you're doing the messy action, but you're actually wasting some time doing the wrong thing consistently when you can learn how to do it in different ways. When if you just kind of knew that strategy, if you took the time to sit down, map it all out, what you're doing, and stop throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping that it sticks, that is something that would definitely make a major difference. It's not that you have to change. It's not that you have to add things, it's that you have to change it. All right, I think I've nailed that home. And so we want to figure out, what are these strategies? What are these tactics? What are these different things that you can do to constantly grow, constantly nurture, and constantly sell? And this major misconception in business is that those 3 things have to mean that you are doing so many things. You're on Pinterest, you're on YouTube, you're posting on Reels every day, you're on Facebook, you're trying to do everything. But instead of trying to do everything, we just have to do the things that you're doing right now better. It's not adding things to your plate. It's just making what you're doing better. That's why strategy is so important. That's what happens with business growth is my clients, I'll say it, you'll see me posting the reels, they're like, Maddie, I almost feel bad. I don't feel like I have that much going on. It's because you don't have this pressure and this guilt to being oh, I should be doing more, because what you're doing isn't working. When you put something out, it's working. You're putting your content out there, it's working for you. And then you just have to do the behind the scenes working on your business stuff. You have more time to do things that can grow your business in a big way, or that you can develop new things, or you have more time to be creative, because I know so many of you are creative people, and you're just almost forced into the strategy side of things because you started a business based on your creativity. And so if you just know how to sell, understand the strategy and the science, it almost becomes second nature, to the point where it's not something that you are constantly dwelling on, thinking about, guessing, frustrated by, because you just know how to do it and you see that it's working. It's okay, I have to post this stuff, and then I put it out there. It takes less time out of your day. It gets easier, and it actually works. This is why I am so passionate about people learning what an actual content and business strategy is. So many people are just throwing the spaghetti at the wall and hoping that it sticks. And again, I think it's admirable. You're doing the messy action, but at what expense and how long are you going to do the messy action for and be frustrated by, when you know this is something that you have the biggest dream to do? This is something you want to take super seriously, yet the one thing that is going to help you grow, which is your marketing strategy, is going to help you actually do that major thing, you don't have a strategy for, and you just don't have the skill set yet. That's okay. So if you have any questions for me, I hope that was at least helpful for you to kind of open it up to this doesn't have to be that hard. You're growing, you're nurturing, and you're selling. If you want to learn in a big way alongside of me how to do this, just saying, PTP, we are starting in late September. There are 2 weeks left as this is coming out. Enrollment just opened yesterday for the last round of 2024. You get full holiday support in it. You and I work really closely together, one-on-one, with private messaging, with one-on-one calls, and we make sure that you have a solid understanding of this seamless sales system, how it works. If it's something you're interested in, click the link below, fill out the application, and I will be in contact with you. Otherwise, you can come on over to my Instagram at This Is Madison Page, send me a DM that says PTP, and I would love to have a conversation with you there. If that's easier for you, you can definitely do that, and we can make sure that this is a great process for you. So, if you're looking to grow your business and you are somebody that feels oh, I just don't have the time for it, or oh my gosh, it just feels like I'm doing so many things and it's not working, or you're feeling I'm a creative person, Maddie, I just kind of hate the business side. I accidentally started this business. I wish that I could, I wish that I didn't have to do the content and the marketing. If you're somebody that dreads social media, I want you to ask yourself, if you knew every time you posted that you were going to make a sale, would you still dread it? Because to me, that means that you just don't have your social media dialed enough to understand that it is literally the most important piece of your business growth journey, is just understanding how to get in front of people, how to nurture those people. And the selling honestly can kind of come pretty naturally after that. Selling can be the easiest part of your business if you know how to get the right people in front of you and nurture them. It really can be that easy. So if you have any questions for me, as always, reach out on Instagram at This Is Madison Page. I hope this was helpful for you. As always, I love you. I'm rooting for you, and I'm in your corner always. If you have any questions for me or would love to join PTP, hop in the show notes and apply for a zero commitment application, and then we will discuss kind of making sure that it is the perfect program for you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will talk to you very soon.